What's good with the fight fans? It's your boy Kijana back with these fight predictions. UFC 242, Abu Dhabi, Khabib versus Poirier. It's gonna be a hell of a card, man. I'm really looking forward to the main event. I actually think this it could be fight of the year. Honestly, if it goes the way that I think it's gonna go, I think it could be fight of the year. But yeah, I'm gonna get straight into the early prelims. I think there's 12 or 13 fights. I can't remember. I think it's 13. Don Madge versus Fares Ziam. I think that's how you say his name. Don Madge, Magic Man, 8-3-1. All finishes. He's a finisher. He lost 3 times by TKO/sub and decision. It's crazy because he lost to the same person three times. He could have easily won the decision fight. I rewatched that and I thought he actually won the fight, but yeah, so he lost 3 times in every category, which is, I don't know, it's like unheard of to lose to the same person 3 times. But yeah, he's explosive, he's a finisher, he's aggressive, he has really nasty high kicks, he has a really good counter, he has really good counter hooks, really good submission game as well. His wrestling defense is pretty good, and he's overall like a well-rounded fighter. So I'm looking forward to watching this guy fight. He was on the rise for a little bit, so yeah, I feel like he hasn't fought in a little while. I can't even remember the last person that he fought. But yeah, that's about all I have on him. I only watched about 3 or 4 fights, and then I remember watching him a few years back. But yeah, Fares, the dude he's fighting is coming in. He's a debut fighter, Fares Ziam, Smile Killer. That's his nickname. It's kind of a weird nickname. His record is 10-2, 5 TKO/KO wins, 4 subs, 2 sub losses. That's going to be an interesting one to see if Don Madge tries to take him to the ground and get a submission on him. He's pretty well-rounded as well. He lost by rear naked choke twice. So I mean, yeah, I guess that's his. That's kind of his kryptonite, is that rear naked choke. He has pretty vicious ground and pound once he gets a hold of you and gets you on the ground in a position where he actually wants you. His takedowns are pretty good. He's a pressure fighter with long limbs, and his striking's not half bad. His footwork's not the best. He's kind of flat-footed, but he does pack a punch. He can knock you out. And yeah, I feel like Don Madge is probably going to get the victory in this one. The other guy, I watched his tape and I just wasn't impressed. I feel like he was just kind of slow, honestly. Like his overall movement, his overall like punching, his kicks, everything about him was just kind of slow. So yeah, I feel like Don Madge is probably going to get the victory, maybe a first or second round TKO, maybe even a submission victory. It'd be crazy to see if he beat him by a rear naked choke or a guillotine choke or something like that, because it seems like that guy is not the best at defending those. So yeah, next fight, Omari Akhmedov versus Zach Cummings. Omari Akhmedov, Wolverine, I like that nickname. 18-4-1, 7 KOs, 5 subs, 2 TKO/KO wins, and 2 losses and 2 sub losses. Came off a decision win to Tim Boetsch in March. He's only lost to big name fighters. Sergio Moraes, Gunnar Nelson. That's one of my favorite fighters in the UFC. He's definitely in my top 10. I just like his style of fighting. But yeah, and Zaleski Dos Santos. Those are all really good fighters. I mean, Zaleski just fought Li Jing and lost in the 3rd round. But I mean, these are all top caliber fighters. Sergio Moraes he's in the mix, but he's not as good as Gunnar Nelson or Zaleski in my own opinion. But yeah, this guy's fought pretty good talent in the UFC. He has really nasty leg kicks, dude. He goes to the legs a lot, like a lot. Almost every one of his fights, he's always attacking the legs. His chain wrestling is pretty good. The only thing that I'm worried about is he leaves his chin up a little bit. He does throw a lot of looping overhand punches, but he does hit hard. So if he connects with one of those looping overhands, he probably could put you to sleep. He takes a lot of damage to give it though. So like, he'll pressure you, he'll take a few punches, but he's gonna give a few punches. So he's basically like, he's a durable fighter. So I mean, if he can outlast you, then he's probably gonna get the win. But he does tend to gas out in the end of the 2nd round. On most of his fights, but he has a brawler type of fighting style. And he's fighting a pretty tough guy, man. Zach Cummings, dude. 23-6 record, 5 KO/TKOs, 12 subs, dude. That's a lot of fucking submission victories. 2 sub losses and 4 decision losses. This guy is super durable, dude. The fight versus Trevin Giles, I picked Giles to beat him. I honestly thought Giles was gonna knock him out in like probably the 2nd or 3rd round, or at least get a decision victory. But Giles played into his game plan and got submitted, dude. He didn't really have the last 2 fights that he's fought in, it seems like I don't know, he doesn't have the best fight IQ. He tries to beat people in their own game, and it just wasn't a smart decision because Zach Cummings, he's a veteran, man. He's been in the UFC for a while. And he ate some serious bombs versus Giles, dude. Like he ate some shots, dude. I thought he was gonna go to sleep, but it didn't happen. The guy has a rock solid chin. He has average takedowns, pretty good cardio, man. He's got pretty good cardio for the weight division. He has a reach advantage in this fight. And really good defensive grappling and counter striking. His counter striking is pretty legit. He can also knock people out, man. So yeah, this is gonna be an interesting fight. I honestly haven't even made a decision on who I want to pick on this one, but I'm leaning more towards Omari Akhmedov, just because those leg kicks, I feel like that's going to be a key factor in this fight. I feel like if he kicks the legs of Zach Cummings and just takes those out early, he could definitely get the win, probably with ease too. Because if you don't have any legs or any base, then you're basically fucked. And we're seeing a lot more fighters doing that calf kick, and it's just it's a great game plan, dude. Especially if you have nasty kicks, like if you have really solid kicks, like Edson Barbosa, for instance. Like, yeah, that's a really good starter package. Is those leg kicks, and his body kicks are pretty good too. So I'm rolling with Omari Akhmedov. Next fight, Nordin Taleb versus Muslim Salikov. I think that's how you say his name. I might be saying it wrong. He's Nordin has a 15-6 record. What is it? 7 KO/TKOs, 6 decision wins, or no, 8 decision wins. Sorry, 2 TKO/TKO losses and 2 sub losses and 2 decision losses. So he's pretty well rounded with his losses. He keeps his range where he wants it. He's pretty good. His striking, his kickboxing is great, actually. He trains at Tiger Muay Thai. This guy's he's a real precision fighter with his kicks, with his punches. He's very strategic on the feet. I'm a fan of Nordin Taleb. I like his style. Came off a decision win to Kyle Perpolik with a very dominant win. He did lose to Sean Strickland by TKO before that. He does have knockout power too as well. Great cardio. Nordin Taleb doesn't. I rarely ever see him gas out in any of his fights, and if he does, it's just because he's putting a lot of pressure on his opponents. He's good at counter striking. His footwork is great. His footwork's actually really good, and his head movement's pretty good too. So yeah, this gonna be an interesting match because he's fighting a guy Muslim Salikov, 14-2 record, 11 KO/TKOs, 2 subs. He only has 2 sub losses. So yeah, he's coming off of a win to Ricky Rainey by KO. He lost to Alex Garcia prior by rear naked choke. Both sub losses were by rear naked choke, which is interesting. So yeah, it's just like the other fighter I talked to you about. Like, that might be his kryptonite. It's just something that he might need to work on, or something that he has been working on and he's improved on. So we really don't know. He has great takedowns, strong fighter, really good kick game as well. So it's gonna be whoever gets the better kick on this one, I feel like. He's a counter striker, punches hard, spinning kicks. Yeah, I mean, this guy's well-rounded, man. Both of these guys are well-rounded. I haven't made a decision on who I want to pick on this one either. So I think I'm gonna roll with dude, I don't really want to pick against Nordin Taleb just because I'm a fan of him. But I feel like Muslim Salikov, if it goes to decision, he'll probably edge him with the decision victory. But I mean, Nordin is fucking tough, man. He's tough. But the only thing is, this guy has 11 KO/TKOs, man. He could definitely catch him with something. So yeah, I'm gonna roll with Muslim Salikov. I feel like he's a durable fighter. I feel like Nordin Taleb is probably not gonna take him down and try to submit him, so he doesn't have to really worry about that. He just has to worry about those kicks of Taleb, because that guy can kick with the best, dude. He really can. But yeah, going through these notes, I wrote a few notes down for this fight card. Next fight, Belal Muhammad, remember the name, man. I like that. I like that nickname too. Takashi Sato, 10. Yeah, Belal Muhammad, man, 15-3 record, 4 KO/TKOs, 11 decision. He's a decision fighter, man. He's durable as fuck. This guy has a really good cardio, really good cardio. I watched some of his training videos too, man. This guy trains his ass off, dude. He trains during Ramadan. Like, I remember going to school with people in high school when they played football with me and shit, and just going off topic, but they were training during Ramadan too, man. These Muslim fighters are no fucking joke, man. They just have a different type of willpower than most people. Most people would not be able to do that. They just wouldn't. They would break. So, yeah, respects to Belal Muhammad, man. I also like that guy as well. He has 1 KO/TKO loss, 2 decision losses. He, like I said, he's durable as fuck. Great gas tank. His last win was against Curtis Millender. He's only lost to well-known fighters, man. Like Jeff Neal, Vicente Luque, Alan Juban. His striking's decent. He's got really good chain wrestling, but is strong-willed though. Accurate striker, great defense. Doesn't take too much punishment. Sometimes he'll take some jabs and crosses and shit, and his nose gets a little bloodied in some fights. But it doesn't seem like he takes too much punishment. The most punishment I actually seen him take was against Jeff Neal, and Jeff Neal was just a better fighter, man. He's just a better fighter. We seen him in the Nico Price fight. The guy's legit. So yeah, I mean, Belal's fought some pretty talented people. He's fighting another guy, Takashi Sato. He's pretty talented as well. 15-2 record, 10 KO/TKOs, 2 subs, 1 sub/1 KO loss. He's got the reach advantage, coming off a TKO win to Ben Sanders. That's not really impressive to me. Ben Sanders was actually beating him in the beginning of the fight with the knees that he was giving him. He had him in the clinch and shit, and Takashi Sato didn't seem like he had any answer for that. I feel like Ben Sanders is just, if Ben Sanders was in his prime, he probably could beat him, Takashi. But yeah, he's not in his prime. He's an older fighter. He's been around for hella long. Doesn't have chin. Ben Sanders has never had chin, so it just really wasn't a impressive knockout to me. But this guy's got really good boxing, kickboxing skills. So yeah, but I'm rolling with Belal Muhammad all the way, man. I think he can get the decision victory for sure against Takashi Sato. But it could be an upset, man. Takashi Sato's he's a pretty tough guy, but he does gas out in his fights. And I think Belal Muhammad's cardio will definitely be a key factor in this fight, because he doesn't gas out like that. So if you gas out against Belal, you might be fucked. This dude's willpower is something else, man. Huge fan of that guy. So next fight, we're going into the prelims now. Just got done with the early prelims. Otman Azar, he's 11-0 record, fighting Timu Pakalin with the 8-2 record. They call this dude the Bulldozer, man. He's a beast. I watched some of his highlights. This guy, man, this guy hits hard. 7 KO/TKOs, 3 subs, fucking knockout power for days, dude. He's a finisher, and he can definitely take punishment. He's been rocked a few times in a few of his fights. Explosive as fuck, fast. He has fast twitch muscle. Yeah, I mean, he's a really fast starter too. He's a pressure fighter. Throws wild at times though. He is hittable. He's definitely hittable. I've seen it in a few of his fights. He can get caught leaving his chin up there. But he has decent takedown defense as well. And he just, yeah, he's a pretty well-rounded fighter, man. The only thing that I'm kind of worried about right now in this fight is his gas tank. Is he gonna have the gas tank to go 3 rounds with Timu? I think he will. Timu he wasn't really impressive the last time I watched him fight. It was a really short fight, so I had to go back and watch some more footage. Some of his older fights, because his fight versus Mark Diakisi was just like, holy shit. Like, Diakisi just fucking knocked him out like nothing. Like, it wasn't even a fight, really, dude. Like, the dude didn't get a chance to even do anything to him. 6 subs. He has 6 subs, 2 TKO/KO wins. He has 1 KO loss and 1 decision loss. But yeah, his last fight, that was a vicious knockout, man. Mark Diakisi, he's definitely a top prospect. He's kind of fallen off a little bit, but he's getting back on the high horse a little with his recent win. He has had 5 different submission wins, so he's very versatile on the ground, man. If Timu can get you on the ground, it might be a wrap for you, dude. If you don't have any submission or BJJ background or any type of skill on the ground, it might be a wrap for you. Very low volume striker, dude. He has average takedowns, but he hasn't fought in over 2 years, dude. That last fight against Diakisi kind of broke him, kind of broke his spirit. You could just see it, dude. It was nasty. Overhand right just caught him. Even the kicks that Diakisi was landing on him, he was just way faster than him. And I feel like Otman Azar is going to be way faster than this guy as well. He's probably going to catch him. Timu's probably going to try to take him down. It's not going to work. This guy's going to just, I think he's going to bulldoze him, like his name. He's the bulldozer. So he's probably going to bulldoze this guy, honestly. He's not 11-0 for no reason. I mean, yeah. So I'm rolling with him. Next fight, Liana Jojua. I don't think I'm saying her name right, but it's all good. Versus Sarah Moras. Liana, she's all right. She has 1 KO/TKO wins, 5 subs. She's pretty good on the ground. 7-2 record. 1 sub loss, 1 decision loss. She's a gritty fighter. She brings it. Very slow punches, very flat-footed, and her overall movement standing up is just not up to par with some of these chicks, these chicks that have good stand-up in the UFC. She definitely needs to work on that, so hopefully she has been working on that. Not the best takedown defense either, dude. There's a lot of holes in this chick's game. She has great subs off the back and on top. So, and she has good sub defense too. She's very flexible. She's almost been submitted a few times in other organizations, and she seems to get out of the submissions. So, but yeah, she's fought low-level components, other low-level fighters and shit. So she doesn't really seem. She seems UFC worthy, but she's still very new to the game. I feel like she might have been training for a long time, but I don't know, man. I don't know. I feel like a few more fights and she would have been a little bit more ready for the UFC. I mean, she could be ready right now. We'll definitely see. Sarah Moras is not a UFC caliber opponent either, so she could easily get this fucking she could easily get this win. But Sarah Moras is a 5-5 record, 2 KO/TKO wins, 2 sub wins, 1 KO loss, 4 decision losses. She has really good takedowns. She sets them up nicely. She tends to gas out, though. Sarah Moras is always gassed out in the second round because she's constantly going for takedowns, constantly clinching up with her opponents. And if she can't get the takedown, she's just kind of broken in the fight. Like, if she can't get you to the ground, she's fucked. She's basically fucked because her stand-up's horrible, dude. Her stand-ups is not good. Macy Chiasson TKO'd her. She was doing pretty good in the first round. She gave her a run for her money in the first round with the chain wrestling and shit. She has relentless takedowns, but like I said, her cardio is questionable, man, and she's on a 3-fight losing streak. The only thing that I heard was this is her last fight of the UFC contract, so she's gonna have to make a big impression if they want to keep her, man, because she's not 0-3 in the UFC, but she's lost her last 3 fights in the UFC. That doesn't look good, and she hasn't been fighting like great caliber opponents in the UFC, so it's just, I don't know. I don't feel like she was ready when she got into the UFC, but I feel like she definitely could beat Liana Jojua. I feel like this is going to be a grappler versus grappler matchup. Man, I'm going to roll with Sarah Moras. I feel like her wrestling is going to be better, and she's probably just going to edge the decision victory. But I mean, if it goes to decision, the other girl's fighting in her home country, so I mean, I could see it going to the other girl as well. Split decision, most likely. That's what I see, either a split decision or a submission victory for one of them. But I'm gonna roll with Sarah Moras. I really don't want to pick her. I'm not confident in that pick. So yeah, whoever you guys think's gonna win on that one, fucking drop them in the comments, man, because I need help for picking that fight as well. It's just a very low level fight, and I really don't know who's gonna win that one. So next fight, Zubara Tukigov versus Lerone Murphy. Zubara, the Warrior, 18-4 record, 6 KO/TKO wins, 1 sub win, 11 decision wins, 1 KO/1 sub loss, 2 decision losses. So he did lose his last fight by split decision to Renato Carneiro. He was on a 9-fight win streak before his loss. So this guy is pretty fucking good, man. He trains with Khabib. I want to say this guy's, I think he's his cousin, or he's part of the family in some way. So I mean, All these guys, their willpower is something else, man. This dude's not a knockout artist. He doesn't really look to KO his opponents. He doesn't have that ability, but he definitely has the ability to grind it out, man. And it seems like a lot of these fighters from Dagestan and just that area over there, they're just gritty, dude. Like they'll grind it out until the end, man. They don't. There's really no luck breaking them. And this guy's he has great cardio, dude. He's pretty good counter striker. His kicks are decent, but he throws looping fucking punches, dude, and he leaves his chin to be hit. I really don't get why a lot of these fighters throw these looping ass punches like that. Like, and I know they train with like boxing coaches and shit. So I mean, I wonder if they're getting taught those looping overhands, those looping overhand lefts and rights and shit, and looping hooks, or if that's just something that's just how they punch. But it just doesn't seem like the right way to punch. But this chain wrestling's good. He's a very hungry fighter, especially being suspended for as long as he was. He almost got kicked out of the UFC for the Conor McGregor incident. I'm not going to go into that though. I'm not a fan of Conor McGregor whatsoever. He needs to be reprimanded for the things he's been doing outside of the UFC for sure. Because if it was any other fighter, they would have either been in prison or they would have already been getting fined a ridiculous amount of money, and Conor just gets a slap on the wrist. So I mean, I don't like pussy motherfuckers like that. But yeah, anyways, enough about that motherfucker. Lerone Murphy, the Miracle, 5-0 record, 3 KO/TKOs, 2 decisions. Not enough fight experience, dude. They're giving this guy, they're basically giving Zubarra a win on this one. I mean, anything could happen in a fight, don't get me wrong, but this guy only has 5. He's only 5-0, man. This other dude has way more fight experience. I just don't see. I mean, yeah, he's explosive. He's an explosive striker. Really good footwork that I've seen. His head kicks are pretty good. He's decent takedowns. He hits hard. Definitely hits hard. He's heavy-handed. 3 TKOs in the first round. I watched one of them, and the guy just kind of gave up. He got hit in the shoulder, and his shoulder dislocated, and he gave up on the fight. But so he's fighting a lot of low-level opponents that just, yeah, they don't really mean nothing, honestly. You could get a better fight in the street with just a random person, or go to a bar and get a better fight with a drunk than some of these people that guy's fought. But he got hooked in. I liked his backstory, man. He got hooked into MMA after he took a gunshot wound at 21 years old to the neck. I was reading up on his background, and it's crazy, man. It's crazy, like what people go through in their life to that kind of changes their perspective on everything. And he seems like he's got a good head on his shoulders now. He said he was hanging around the wrong people at the time, but he said MMA has changed his life, and it definitely seems like it has. He seems focused. I watched interviews with him. He definitely seems like he could be the real deal, but it's just, I feel like they're giving him this fight a little bit too early, and they're giving him an opponent that just has too much grappling experience right now. So I'm rolling with Zubarra to get the win, probably a decision win, maybe even a TKO win. Most likely decision, though. Zubarra is just durable, and he goes to decision a lot. So yeah, but I wouldn't count Lerone Murphy out, man, because he could definitely knock this guy out, especially if he overextends or just gets carried away, man. Because a lot of these, I noticed a lot of these fighters that are coming from Dagestan, they don't have that good bounce, that good kickboxing kind of bounce. They're all kind of flat-footed, most of them. But it works for their advantage, for their type of fighting styles, their wrestling styles and shit, their grappling styles. And some of these dudes they do pack a punch. So it's like they plant their feet the right way, and they knock you the fuck out. So yeah, I'm rolling with Zubarra though. That should be a pretty decent fight. I feel like it's gonna go to decision. So Lerone Murphy wouldn't be a bad underdog pick if you're gonna pick him. Next fight, Joanne Calderwood, JoJo versus Andrea Lee, KGB. JoJo, 13-4 record, 5 KO/TKO wins, 1 sub, 7 decisions. She has 2 sub losses and 2 decision losses. Just came off a decision loss to Caitlin Chukagian. I picked Joanne Calderwood to win that shit, dude. And I felt like she definitely won the fight against Chukagian. She was eating a lot of punches to the face, but those kicks that she was giving Chukagian were just plain, and like they were just nasty, dude. Those kicks were something else. She was fucking her legs up, and she was fucking her up with the push kicks and the T kicks too to the stomach. So I mean, Joanne Calderwood, she's a fucking beast, dude. Really good clinch work. She has good elbows. She's another one of these tough, gritty fighters, man. But her push kicks, dude, her push kicks, it seems like she practices that type of kick a lot because she uses it in almost every fight. And it's great for keeping that distance and just shit, yeah. It's just great for keeping distance and really digging into the body. T kicks and the push kicks. Doesn't really have a sub game. She's a smart fighter. She does take the fight where she needs it to be. She has sub game. I'm going to take that back. She does have sub game, but it's just not something that she goes to that often unless she knows that she can beat you there. She's a pressure fighter. She does walk her opponents down. That's what she was doing to Caitlin Chookagian, and Chookagian just kept jabbing her in the face and giving her crosses in the face, so she doesn't really have any head movement. But yeah, she's tough, dude. She can eat some serious punches, but I don't know if she's gonna be able to eat these punches from KGB, from Andrea Lee. She's 11-2 record, 2 KO/TKO wins, 4 subs, 5 decisions, 1 loss by sub and decision. She's a really strong fucking chick, dude. And she's in great shape. Her cardio's good. Very nice takedowns. She has a tricky submission game. A lot of people don't really get to see her submission game because she's usually standing up with her opponents. But when she does take you to the ground and does some type of takedown, judo slam or whatever she tries to do on these chicks, she can definitely deliver that top pressure on these females, man. And she's on the rise, dude. Like, her striking at distance is something else. She has the reach advantage in this, and she's really strong in the clinch. Both of these fighters are really good. I'm looking forward to seeing this fight. I feel like it's going to be really good. I'm probably going to roll with Andrea Lee on this one just because she has the reach advantage. And from what I've seen on Joanne Calderwood's last fight, she doesn't have enough head movement, so she could definitely get clipped by Andrea. And I think Andrea could also take her to the ground and really just beat her on the ground. So yeah, I'm gonna roll with Andrea Lee. Joanne Calderwood's a great underdog pick, though. I mean, I'll probably pick Andrea Lee in my Bovado lineups, but to be honest, I might pick Joanne Calderwood in my DraftKings lineups just for points. But yeah, that's gonna be it's gonna be an interesting fight. I'm looking forward to that one. Next fight, we're going into the main card now. Mairbek Taisumov versus Diego Ferreira. Mairbek, Bekin, that's his nickname. 27-5 record, 15 KOs, 9 subs, 1 KO loss, 1 sub loss. 6-fight win streak. His last fight against Desmond Green, man, was it was pretty fucking good, dude. It was a decent performance. He had a loss against Michel Prazeres. 1 TKO lost by doctor stoppage. So I mean, I don't really even count that as a TKO. It's just it is what it is. That shit happens. Quick in and out movement, good wrestling. Top ground and pound is really good. And his body kicks, dude. His body kicks are something that this guy's gonna have to watch out for because he throws great body kicks straight to the liver. A very accurate striker, and he's a pretty fucking good wrestler. Actually, not pretty good. He's a really good wrestler, but he just doesn't seem to use that much wrestling. He's the complete he's like I'm not gonna say he's like Khabib, but he's kind of like an opposite version of him because he uses his striking more than his wrestling. But his wrestling's actually really fucking good too. So yeah, I'm not gonna compare him to Khabib, but all those dudes from that area, man, they're most of them are pretty fucking legit, dude. And this guy, he's fighting Diego Ferreira, 15-2 record, 3 KO/TKO wins, 6 subs, 1 KO loss, 1 decision loss. He's on a 4-fight win streak. All big names. He's fought Rustam Khabilov, Jared Gordon, Olivier. And his last losses were to Dustin Poirier and Beneil Dariush. Dustin Poirier got it done in the first round, but we all know Dustin Poirier is he's a stud and a straight savage, and that's why he's in the position he's in right now. But this guy's a well-rounded fighter, Diego Ferreira, and he has the reach advantage in this fight. But I just think that Mairbek's going to be too much for this guy. He's probably going to KO him or TKO him, and if he doesn't KO him, he's going to get the decision victory. His pressure is just going to be too much for Ferreira. Ferreira's a good fighter, but I think that 4-fight win streak is going to definitely be snapped after this one. Next fight, Curtis Blades versus Shamil, what's his name? Shamil Abdurakhimov. Man, I can't pronounce none of these dudes' names, but yeah, Curtis Blades versus Shamil. And I've watched Shamil plenty of times. I can never pronounce his last name. But yeah, Curtis Blades, 11-2 record, 8 KO/TKO wins, 3 decisions, 2 TKO losses to the same fighter. We all know who that is, Francis Ngannou. That's nothing to really be mad about or to really look too much into. Just because Francis Ngannou's a fucking beast. If he hits you anywhere, you're probably going to go to sleep or you're going to be fucked up. But yeah, I mean, this guy is a young, hungry fighter. He's a natural fucking heavyweight. Great wrestling. Great fucking wrestling, dude. He gets, 3 to 5 takedowns at least in each one of his fights. In every fight he has, he gets takedowns. So, I mean, outstanding ground and pound. We all seen what he did to fucking Alistair Overeem. We all know Alistair Overeem's at the end of his career, but it doesn't matter, man. Alistair Overeem is still one of the greatest and one of the best, like, well-rounded fighters in that division. So for him to just elbow him to death like that and just take his fucking soul, like, he took Alistair Overeem's soul in that shit. He cut his whole fucking forehead open with those elbows, and that's why they call him Blades, man. That motherfucker, dude. That motherfucker's something else, dude. Curtis Blades is a fucking beast. Like, for you to only lose to Ngannou in that division it's just crazy. It's just crazy. Like, that guy's, like, he didn't stand. He's a smart fighter, too. He knows what to do. Against Justin Willis, he didn't stand and try to strike with him because he knows Justin Willis could knock him out. He could have knocked him out. Justin Willis has probably better hands than Curtis Blades, honestly. But he just kept taking him down, and he kept taking him down with ease. He's throwing these big dudes around like nothing. Like, and if you've ever wrestled or ever tried to pick anybody up that's over 200 pounds, like, that shit's hard. That shit's hard, man. It's not easy, man. It's not easy at all. So for him to be doing that shit like nothing, for him to be taking Mark Hunt down like nothing, and all these big motherfuckers like it's nothing, like, it's crazy. It's just crazy, dude. He's got his wrestling technique down. So Curtis Blades is a fucking beast, man. And he's fighting another beast, Shamil, 20-4 record, 9 KO/TKO wins, 4 subs, 2 TKO losses, 1 sub loss. This guy is super flat-footed, He's got fast hands, though. He's definitely got fast hands. Heavy-handed, he can pack a punch. Constantly walks his opponents down. He's durable, definitely durable. His wrestling and his trips are pretty fucking good too, and almost every one of his fights he gets like a trip or at least 1 takedown. But he usually can't keep his opponents down, and he's definitely not gonna be able to do that to Blades. Blades is too experienced of a wrestler for him to do that to him. He could get like maybe 1 takedown off of Blades, but Blades is gonna pop right back up. He's just too experienced. He's got pretty good fucking cardio as well for that division. But this guy's relentless with his when he's finishing his opponents. If Curtis Blades gets caught with something, this guy Shamil is gonna be all over it. He's not gonna let him recover, and he's gonna fuck him up and probably TKO him if that happens. So Blades needs to be well aware of this guy's power behind those hands. His performance against Walt Harris was fucking great. And his last performance against Marcin Tybura, I picked Tybura to win, which my gut was telling me, my first instinct was telling me to pick Shamil, but I thought Tybura was going to have the faster hands, and this guy knocked him out quick. Like, I thought Tybura was definitely going to have the faster hands in that fight, and it just didn't play out like I thought it would. So yeah, I'm gonna roll Curtis Blades on this one. I feel like he'll get the job done. This is gonna be a close fucking fight, though. If it goes to it's probably gonna go to decision. If it doesn't go to decision, I could definitely see Shamil knocking Curtis Blades out, though. I could see that being an upset. Curtis Blades is a huge favorite in this fight, and I definitely could see that being an upset because this guy's wrestling defense is pretty decent, and he could probably stuff a few of Curtis Blades' shots. But I feel like Blades is gonna have the better cardio as well. So yeah, I mean, that's going to be an interesting fight. Curtis Blades with the dub. Next fight, Islam Makhachev versus Davi Ramos. I didn't really take too many notes on this one. I already kind of know about these fighters. Islam, I knew about a lot of those other ones too, but I just wanted to make sure that I had it all down and remembered. But Islam Makhachev, man, his wrestling is it's ridiculous. It's another Khabib style wrestler, dude. Like, and his only loss was to Adriano Martins, I think that's what the dude's name was, and it was just because Makhachev, he just overextended. That's all he did. He overextended with his right cross, and he got caught with the counter. So I mean, that's why he's 17-1. He's only got 1 loss, and it's kind of a fluke, because I felt like he was beating the dude up until that point. But he's fighting Davi Ramos, which is 10-2. Ramos, the Tasmanian Devil, man. This guy's fucking BJJ it's world class. It's world class. He can be in there with the best on the ground with anyone, honestly, and make it light work. But the only thing about this guy, Davi Ramos hasn't really fought anybody with a great name, a really high caliber opponents. He's beaten John Gunther, Chris Gutremizer, or whatever his name was, Nick Hein. Like, I mean, these dudes aren't really like high caliber opponents. So, and then his last fight against Austin Hubbard gave him a run for his money. So, I mean, if Austin Hubbard's doing that on a week and a half's notice or 2 weeks notice, just think of what Islam's gonna do to you in his home country. Like, this guy's relentless though, and Davi Ramos isn't a knockout artist. He's got mainly submissions under his belt. So I mean, I could see Islam getting caught with something a little sneaky, but Davi Ramos tends to gas out, and you don't want to gas out against Makhachev because he's not going to gas out. He's just got that. Like I said, these dudes got willpower. They all train together, and they don't give up. Most of these guys, they just don't give up on themselves. It's just not in them. You're gonna have to either put them to sleep or submit them. Like, you're gonna have to put them away for them to give up, plain and simple. And I don't see Davi Ramos doing that, so that's why I'm rolling with Islam Makhachev to get the decision victory. He could even get a TKO victory because Davi Ramos does gas out in the middle of the second round, kind of towards the end of the second round, in almost every one of his fights. So if it even lasts that long, they were giving him fucking basically bums. John Gunther got kicked out of the UFC after that fight, I think, against Davi Ramos, and they gave John Gunther a chance. But it's like, why are you giving this guy a chance? You might as well go to a random ass spot somewhere and give anybody a chance, because John Gunther is just not the guy. and some of these dudes in the UFC, like, they need to get him out of the UFC because they're not the guy. They're not the guy. Like, you can go to any neighborhood somewhere and probably find somebody that's better than that guy. So I mean, honestly, like, I don't want to knock John Gunther and any of these guys that are actually trying. They're trying hard and they put the work in and shit like that. But it's just, you're not UFC caliber, homie. So yeah. But yeah, I'm gonna roll with Islam Makhachev to get the job done. Next fight, I'm almost done here, you guys. Edson Jr. Barbosa versus the Irish Dragon Paul Felder, rank 7 versus rank 10. This is gonna be, this is a rematch fight. This is gonna be a really interesting fight because, to me, and Edson Barbosa is 20-7, Paul Felder is 16-4. To me, Edson Barbosa doesn't seem like he's really improved much. He seems like the same Edson Barbosa he was kind of a while ago, and if not, he actually seems like he's downgrading a little bit. Like, he's been losing his fights. His last fight against Justin Gaethje, Gaethje just pressured him, and that's what happens when you pressure Edson Barbosa. Is he kind of, I'm not gonna say he breaks, but I mean, then again, Edson Barbosa's only lost to high caliber opponents. I mean, he lost to Tony Ferguson, he lost to Khabib. These are all high caliber opponents. So when he's facing like I'm not going to say an average opponent, but when he's facing somebody that's closer to his level, he can definitely knock you out and beat you. But he doesn't seem like he's improved much. He doesn't seem like he's really like took it to the next level. And I feel like he's at the end of his career already. So yeah, I mean, his kicking game, we all know his kicking game is fucking brutal. If you get kicked by this guy, you're going to be limping for weeks. Like, you're probably gonna have some broken bones, some broken ribs. Your liver's gonna be fucked up. Everything about you is gonna be fucked up if you get kicked by this guy. This guy has soccer kicks. Like, he'll kick your fucking head off. But he's fighting a dude, the Irish Dragon, Paul Felder. This dude's a fucking beast. Like, Paul Felder, I like Paul Felder, man, but I feel like Paul Felder's kind of, and he's progressed since this fight a lot. He's fought some big names. He's only lost to big names. He lost to Mike Perry. And he lost to Edson Barbosa and a few other people. He lost to Trinaldo. I think that was by a TKO or a doctor stoppage. I can't remember. But I mean, he lost to some pretty good fighters. But the Irish Dragon, Paul Felder, man, this guy's a pressure fighter. He has the reach disadvantage in this fight by like 4 or 5 inches. So Edson Barbosa, if he keeps the distance, he could knock out Paul Felder, or give him a liver shot, and just the fight's gonna be done. A TKO victory for Barbosa. But if Paul Felder can walk him down like Justin Gaethje did, and not let him get any kicks off and get close to him, but even though Barbosa does have knees too and elbows, Paul Felder could definitely get him in that clinch, that dirty kind of boxing, and elbow him, knee him. The one thing I'm worried about is Paul Felder tries to fight people in their game. And that's just not a smart decision, I feel like. I feel like Paul Felder should try to take him down and see if he's progressed on the ground. I don't feel like Edson Barbosa's progressed on the ground. I feel like he's one-dimensional, and I feel like if you take him to the ground, you could definitely get the job done there. But that's just my own opinion. I like Paul Felder a lot. I actually feel like Paul Felder is going to win this fight. People are going to think I'm crazy because I'm rolling with Felder. He's the underdog. But I just feel like Barbosa hasn't improved enough. Yeah, his kicks are nasty. We all know that, though. What else has he improved on? His kicks have always been good. Since he's gotten to the UFC, his kicks have always been good. So what else have you improved on, my dude? Like, are you getting better in the grappling? Are you getting better with your takedowns? What else are you getting better with your subs? Because you keep trying to get the same victory with the same type of knockouts with your kicks. Your punches are all right too, but with your kicks, and also Edson Barbosa gasses out within the usually at the, like, if you're pressuring him, he gasses out within the second round. If you're kind of letting him just get his kicks off, he doesn't really gas out. And one more thing about this fight, Edson Barbosa's performance against Dan Hooker was fucking flawless. It was flawless, dude. Dan Hooker tried to play into that game, that kick game with Barbosa, and usually you can't play into that game with him, dude. Barbosa's gonna kick you to death. Like, he kicked his legs so many times. I was like, fuck, dude. Like, one of those leg kicks is gonna hurt. Like, Dan Hooker's, he's tough. But I'm rolling with the Irish Dragon on this one. He did have a collapsed lung against fucking, what's his name? James Vick. He had a collapsed lung against James Vick after that fight, so that's not really good. The Irish Dragon's had a lot of injuries, so this could definitely play a factor in this one. He got injured against Mike Perry. He's been injured in a lot of his fights, so yeah, but I'm gonna roll with him to get the job done. Next fight, championship fucking fight, man. Khabib Nurmagomedov versus Dustin the Diamond Poirier. The Eagle versus the Diamond. This is gonna be a fucking hell of a fight, man. Like, there's nothing else to say. Khabib's wrestling is the greatest. It's the greatest, dude. Honestly, his wrestling is up there. In the UFC, I can't really think of anybody's wrestling that's better than his, other than, or like at least at his level. I mean, DC's wrestling is great. Like, Islam's wrestling is great, but Khabib's wrestling is on another level. This guy's not 27-0 for no reason. Like, he's been fighting pretty good competition as well. He's had some injuries. He's had knee injuries and shit in the past, but he's fought some really tough competition. But he's fighting the guy, the Diamond, Dustin Poirier. He's improved so much, man. His last performance against Max Holloway was incredible. It was an incredible performance. I picked Poirier to win that fight. He's 24-5 with one no contest. No contest. I feel like Khabib's gonna probably be the bigger fighter in this fight, but I also feel like a lot of people are counting Dustin Poirier out. Dustin Poirier's ground game is really good. His wrestling defense is even better. And his submission defense is really good. So Khabib is not going to be able to just take this guy down at will like he thinks he's going to do. He's done that to a lot of other people, but you got to watch out for Dustin Poirier's uppercuts. You got to watch out for Dustin Poirier's hooks. You got to watch out for everything that he throws, because he throws with fucking heat. And I don't feel like Khabib, I feel like Khabib respects him, but I also feel like he's just going to run. I feel like he thinks he's going to just run through Dustin Poirier. And I feel like a lot of people think that he's just going to run through Poirier. And I don't really see that happening, because Poirier's cardio, to me, is better than Khabib's. Because if Khabib takes a while to get you down, it's going to drain him just as much as it's draining Poirier. And I feel like Poirier is going to withstand the storm. And I also feel like he's going to get the victory. If it goes to decision, it's probably going to go to Khabib because they're in their country. But if it doesn't go to decision, I could definitely see Poirier knocking Khabib out and getting that belt. It would be fucking crazy too to give him his first loss. Like, I like both of these fighters, but I'm rolling with Dustin Poirier. He's the underdog, man. I really would want to see him win, dude. He's from Louisiana. Hell yeah, man. That's what I'm talking about. That's where my roots are from too. So I might be a little biased, but I really feel like Dustin Poirier could get this fucking job done, man. People are counting this guy out, saying that Khabib's gonna just smash him, and I just don't see it. I really don't. Like, Khabib smashed a lot of people, but Poirier's wrestling defense is pretty good, man, and he's good on the ground, and he gets back to his feet fast when you take him down. And it just seems like his cardio is still good at the end of the 5th round. Like, it seems like he could go another 5 rounds in a lot of these fights. And he packs a punch, so I don't know. I'm rolling with Dustin Poirier, though. But yeah, anyways, I've been rambling on for a long time. This is probably my longest video. I'm really excited for these fights. I hope that they go in my favor. The last few fight cards that I've been betting on for DraftKings have been great. Also for Bovado, for my parlays, they've been great. I actually was ranked in the top 25 this last week, and then I ranked in the top 10 the week before on DraftKings, so that was pretty cool. I really want to get that #1 spot eventually. I've gotten #2 before, but I never got #1. I really want to get #1. So yeah, man. If you guys want to subscribe, drop some comments on who you guys are who you think's gonna win, and why do you think that they're gonna win. Drop them, because I want to hear everybody's comments and just what they think. I mean, you might have some insight that I don't have, and it would just be interesting to see what's going through everybody else's head. See if it can help me with some of my picks, and let's all get this money, man. Let's get this bag. So yeah, you guys enjoy the weekend, enjoy the fights, stay safe.